In Baltimore, under a humid August sky, the Mariners and Orioles meet again. Seattle holds a 67-53 record, tied with Houston atop the AL West, riding the surge of an 8-game winning streak. Baltimore sits at 53-66, last in the AL East, the echoes of past postseason runs growing faint. The market favors Seattle on the road, total set at 9.5. On the mound for Seattle, Logan Evans, 6 wins, 4 losses, a 4.36 ERA, and a 1.37 WHIP. Over 74.1 innings, he has struck out 57 and walked 26. His home form is steadier, but the road reveals a 5.28 ERA across 6 starts, a mark that shows vulnerability. Behind him is a bullpen ranked 9th in MLB with a 3.78 ERA and tied for 3rd in WHIP at 1.20, arms built to protect leads deep into the night. For Baltimore, Tomoyuki Sugano, 9 wins, 5 losses, a 4.24 ERA, and a 1.29 WHIP. He's worked 121.0 innings with 80 strikeouts against 29 walks. At home, his command sharpens, but the support behind him wavers. The Orioles' bullpen carries a 4.82 ERA, 27th in MLB, and a 1.40 WHIP, 28th. Numbers that have too often turned late leads into losses. Seattle's offense carries both blunt force and subtle threat. 171 home runs, 4th in MLB, and 126 stolen bases, 3rd. They can alter a scoreboard with one swing or by manufacturing runs in silence. Baltimore's attack, led by Gunnar Henderson, holds talent but lacks depth, with a 239 average, 22nd, and 303 OBP, 24th, limiting sustained rallies. Momentum leans heavily toward Seattle. They have claimed 9 of their last 10, their form rising with the stakes. Baltimore has dropped 7 of 10, slowed by roster changes, injuries, and the weight of a losing season. Home field is theirs, but it will not fix a bullpen bleeding runs. The odds show respect for Baltimore's starter, keeping the line tighter than the standings suggest. But over 9 innings, the Mariners' edge in bullpen strength, offensive production, and current form is decisive. This is not a question of one arm. It is the sum of every inning, and in that sum, Seattle is greater. And today's AI pick is Seattle Mariners moneyline. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 2, with a baton.
Under the closed roof of Rogers Center, the Cubs and Blue Jays meet in the finale of their 3-game set. Chicago comes in at 67-50, fighting to keep pace in the National League wildcard race, while Toronto sits at 70-50, holding the best record in the American League and guarding its AL East lead. Vegas makes this one close. The Cubs a near-even money line at 106, the Jays at 110, with the total at 8.5. Chicago sends Matthew Boyd to the mound. At 11-5 with a 2.46 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP, he's been one of baseball's most reliable arms this season. Across 135.2 innings, he's struck out 121 while walking just 29. But there's a hint of vulnerability. Over his last 3 starts, he's allowed 8 earned runs in 17 innings. Against Toronto, his career record is winless in 7 starts, last facing them in 2021. For Toronto, Max Scherzer gets the call. The 41-year-old 3-time Cy Young winner holds a 2-2 record with a 4.21 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP over 47 innings. In his last 2 outings, he's given up only 3 earned runs in 12 innings, showing the form that has defined his Hall of Fame career. Against the Cubs, he's gone 5-2 with a 2.82 ERA in 11 starts. And while Chicago's bats have taken him deep before, his command and guile remain dangerous weapons. Toronto's offense leads the league in batting average at .270 and in hits at 9.3 per game. They've been scorching in August, hitting .323 with 21 home runs, and are particularly lethal against left-handers, a bad sign for Boyd. Chicago's bats have produced all season, ranking near the top in runs scored and slugging, but August has been cold, just .23 as a team with 9 homers. Bullpens may matter late. The Cubs' relief corps owns a 3.89 ERA, 1.21 WHIP, solid and consistent. Toronto's is shakier, with a 4.25 ERA and 1.24 WHIP, but the Blue Jays' offense has a way of building leads that even a flawed bullpen can hold. The odds show respect for Toronto's starter, keeping the line tighter than the standings suggest. But over 9 innings, the Blue Jays' edge in current form, matchup splits, and home momentum gives them the upper hand. And today's AI pick is Toronto Blue Jays moneyline. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 3 with Anna.
Under the lights of Citi Field, the stakes hang heavy. The Braves limp in with 51 wins, their season mired in missed chances and hollow rallies. The Mets stand taller, 64-55, still chasing the division crown, their eyes fixed on October. Vegas lays it bare. New York favored, total at 8.5, the run line begging for conviction. On the hill for Atlanta, Bryce Elder. 4 wins, 9 losses, a swollen 6.12 ERA, whip at 1.55, 100 innings of hard contact and missed spots. Away from home, the road turns crueler. 7.64 ERA in just 6 starts. His 38 walks shadow his 81 strikeouts, each free pass a spark for disaster. Elder's task is clear. Survive a lineup that smells blood. Opposite him, Kodai Senga. 7 wins, 4 losses, a 2.30 ERA that sits among the elite. 94 innings, 88 strikeouts, a whip of 1.24. The forkball falls like a blade, and his home mound has been a fortress. Against a Braves order batting .242 with OBP at .319, Senga brings not just control but cruelty, forcing weak contact, closing innings before they open. This is more than numbers. It's momentum and fracture. The Mets have stumbled in August, their record scarred at 2-8 in the last 10, but the Braves are no predator. Their road mark is 21-38, their bats inconsistent, their speed minimal. Power, 133 home runs, middle of the pack, unlikely to overwhelm an ace. New York's offense, 9th in homers with 153, meets the vulnerability head-on. Elder's road ERA signals runs early, and the Mets' bullpen, 7th in ERA at 3.71, stands ready to hold any lead. Atlanta's relief corps, 4.29 ERA, ranked 22nd, offers no such safety. Every inning after the starter is another door left unlocked. This game tilts on the first 3 frames. If Senga keeps Atlanta scoreless, the Mets' bats will have room to break it open. Elder's high whip means base traffic, and base traffic means crooked numbers. Even if the Mets' recent form has been cold, this matchup is built for a thaw. Power bats against a hittable starter in a hitter's park on a humid August night. And today's AI pick is Mets 1.5 run line. Will we cash or will we burn?
Under the sealed dome of Target Field, this is not parity, it's leverage made flesh. Detroit arrives at 70-52, first in the AL Central, built on rotation dominance and disciplined run production. Minnesota, at 56-63, is a team floating between rebuild and relevance, home record 24-38, still reeling from roster turnover. Vegas reflects the imbalance. Tigers heavy favorites at 210, run line at 1.5, 122, total a tight 7.5. The fulcrum is Tariq Skubal. 11 wins, 3 losses, a 2.35 ERA, whip at 0.86, the lowest in the league. Across 145.1 innings, he has fanned 187, walked just 21. Against these Twins in June, he worked 7 scoreless frames, struck out 13, allowed only 3 base runners. 6 of his last 10 starts have ended with 2 runs or fewer allowed. The rare bad outing noted in some reports is statistical noise. Skubal's consistency is the signal. Minnesota's counterweight is Bailey Ober. 4 wins, 7 losses, ERA 5.16, whip 1.38. In 103 innings, he's been tagged for 4+ runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. His July meeting with Detroit was a collapse. 7 earned runs, 11 hits, 5.2 innings. That's not a blip. It's a pattern. Even his good outing last time out was a loss, and he has no sustained stretch of dominance to anchor trust. Around the mound, the gap widens. Detroit ranks 8th in MLB in runs per game, 4.8, 8th in slugging with 157 homers. Minnesota sits 20th in runs, 17th in slugging, and owns a bottom third batting average at .239. The Tigers' bullpen is 13th in ERA, 3.87, and 8th in whip, 1.22, a secure endgame unit. The Twins' bullpen ranks 23rd in ERA, 4.31, 15th in whip, 1.27, exposed when forced to cover early exits. The public handicap on the Twins plus 1.5 leans on Ober's last start and Detroit's recent run of one-run wins. But that's an emotional hedge, not a mathematical one. Scooball's dominance over this exact lineup, Ober's vulnerability to this exact offense, and the Tigers' bullpen edge all tilt toward separation, not a squeaker. And today's AI pick is Tigers 1.5 run line. Will we cash or will we burn? On to Game 5 with Rocco.
Under the neon haze of Denver's thin air, the Arizona Diamondbacks bring a 59-62 mark into Coors Field against the Colorado Rockies, who limp in at 32-88. Vegas makes the split plain, Arizona a strong favorite at 168. The run line at 1.5 for 118, total a sky-high 12 runs. This isn't just baseball, it's altitude math and roster reality colliding. For Arizona, Eduardo Rodriguez takes the ball. 4 wins, 7 losses, a 5.68 ERA, whip at 1.66. In 103 innings, he's fanned 105, walked 40, and been touched for 19 home runs. The fracture in his numbers is clear. Too many base runners, too much hard contact. On the road, a 5.63 ERA. Against Colorado in his career, he's unbeaten, but the sample is thin. At Coors, command and pitch movement are tested like nowhere else, and Rodriguez will need to survive his early frames to give Arizona's bats the runway they need. For Colorado, Bradley Blaylock. 1 win, 3 losses, an ERA scraping 8 at 7.89, whip at 1.71. In 43.1 innings, just 22 strikeouts, 14 walks, and 9 home runs surrendered. At home, the numbers detonate, 11.76 ERA in 5 starts. This is not variance, it's a repeating pattern of collapse. Against a lineup like Arizona's, which thrives on power and hard contact, Blaylock's profile reads like an open invitation. The bats tilt the scale further. Arizona sits tied for 6th in runs per game at 4.9, 9th in average at 251, and 3rd in slugging at 441. Their 168 home runs rank 5th in MLB. Ketel Marte's recent heroics against Texas only underline the damage this lineup can inflict, and Coors Field's altitude turns deep flies into souvenirs. Colorado, by contrast, ranks 28th in runs at 3.7, 24th in average at .237, and sits near the bottom in on-base and slugging. Even at home, they don't score enough to offset the runs their staff allows. Bullpens? Arizona's 4.54 ERA ranks 25th, vulnerable in long series, but Colorado's relief corps sits dead last in ERA at 6.01 and whip at 1.61. Late inning chaos favors the team with the lead, and Arizona's offense makes that scenario the default expectation. And today's AI pick is Diamondbacks, 1.5 run line. Will we cash or will we burn? On to the recap with Lilith.
The board today reads like a gambler's fever dream. 5 games, 5 angles, each cut clean by the blade of discipline. First, Seattle over Baltimore, money line. Heat meets cold, the Mariners streak like they own August. Second, Toronto over Chicago, money line. The Blue Jays feast on left-handed arms, and Scherzer's form holds steady. Third, Mets over Braves, 1.5 run line. Senga carves, Elder breaks. The difference is measured in innings, not inches. Fourth, Tigers over Twins, 1.5 run line. Scooball's the hammer, Ober the nail. This is not a fair fight. Fifth, Diamondbacks over Rockies, 1.5 run line. Collapse is a pattern, and Colorado repeats it nightly. Ahora en español. Primero, Seattle sobre Baltimore, línea de dinero. Calor contra frío. Los Mariners arden en agosto. Segundo, Toronto sobre Chicago, línea de dinero. Los Blue Jays destrozan zurdos y Scherzer mantiene su forma. Tercero, Mets sobre Braves, línea de carrera, 1.5. Senga domina, Elder se quiebra. La diferencia se mide en entradas, no en pulgadas. Cuarto, Tigers sobre Twins, línea de carrera, 1.5. Scuball es el martillo, Ober el clavo, no es una pelea justa. Quinto, Diamondbacks sobre Rockies, línea de carrera, 1.5. El colapso es un patrón, y Colorado lo repite cada noche. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn? Der Teufel steckt im Detail. The devil is in the details.